Welcome, friends, to Lunch Hour Yoga. So you know to come to sit in a comfortable seat for you. Letting your hands face down, truly rooting, connecting all earth energy. And then finding that balance between the heaviness of staying connected and the lightness of pulling in and up and growing through it all. Bring hands about halfway up the legs as the elbows bend, the heart center opens even more. Slow, steady breathing. Bringing one hand to heart center, bringing one hand to lower belly, feeling the inhale, feeling the exhale. Low hand makes its way to rib cage, making space, letting go. Rib cage, hand to heart center hand to the other side, receiving, releasing. Side hand down to the low belly, all spaces, receiving more than you think you can. Releasing more than you think is possible. Inhale invites the palms to meet in front of heart center, the thumbs press, feeling your heartbeat, acknowledging your very own rhythm, that rhythm that connects us all to this earth, that rhythm that connects us all to each other. Opening hands as if they were cups, receiving the morning dew, receiving the raindrops, remembering water is cleansing not only on the outside but also the inside, releasing emotions so they do not stay bottled up as you bring middle finger, thumb to meet for patience, courage, determination. We'll circle the wrists in front and then above, reversing circles, finding your breathing along the way, moving up again. And this time at the top, crossing the wrists, elbows bend, fingers spread, palms open, toes stretch. Receiving all that there is to receive in the middle of this. Bringing hands down to frame the heart center and making your very own wish. Perhaps something we need to see more clearly as the full moon visits us. Perhaps a wish for a dear one. Perhaps a wish for someone you don't even know. And on your next inhale, arms reach out, up. They meet overhead, and on the exhale, hands make their way down the midline. Sound Om as you wish. Om. Two more. One more. inhale, bringing hands to your knees. And on the exhale, beginning the circular movement as we celebrate the full moon vibes. Those who pay attention to the skies say this full moon is in the sign of Aries. We know Aries has horns, and so we're aware of that energy where we might poke and prod a bit. And with that knowledge, perhaps we know that instead of taking one deep breath before we respond or act or speak, we'll take a few to several deep breaths. Finding balance in the energies of moving and getting things done, but also listening and proceeding in a way that helps us all, rather than jumping in without that breathing happening first. And next time you arrive, center, pause a moment, reverse your circles. Keep moving, keep breathing. As you inhale, come center. If you don't mind, come to sit on your heels. If you like a little cushion under your ankles or between the thighs and calves, take a moment to set that up. And since we're practicing here in the studio, we're going to take the breathing and the moving slow and steady. So it's a cat-cow spine from your seat. If you're at home and you want to take this more quickly, please do have your breath match your moving and your moving match your breathing. But since we're here together in the studio, we're taking it slow and steady. And maybe even exaggerate it a bit more. Opening heart, rolling shoulders, pulling navel, rounding back with your breath. On an inhale, lengthening the spine, rolling the shoulders on the exhale. And on the next inhale, we'll reach the hands out to the side, and then exhale, find your shoulders. You know, if wrists prefer, you make fists to keep your wrist in line. And then again, in the studio, we're taking it slow and steady from one side to the other with your breathing. At home, if you'd like to speed it up, please do, and match your breathing to your moving, and let your exhale be the focus at home. And in the studio, we're giving both breaths the focus. Inhale brings you center. Exhale releases hands. On the inhale, we'll lift the shoulders up. On the exhale, we'll roll them back. So here in the studio, we're exaggerating the typical movement we do here. At home, if you want to lift the shoulders, drop the shoulders, lift and drop with your movement, feel free. Or you can join us and maybe feel the exaggeration of the movement, releasing anything we may be holding in our tech necks, in our overactive fight or flight mode, some of us or many of us at this point. And next time your shoulders release down and back, we'll bring the middle finger and the thumb to the collarbone, and then you'll move just underneath that clavicle to the soft spots and massage your brain buttons. If you want to do one side and then the other, you may. So these spots have been researched to help us find calm, to help us find balance, and then we're much more prepared to focus when we have calm and balance. And then we're ready to learn. And we humans always have lots to learn. It seems perhaps many of us receiving a crash course right now in learning all kinds of things. Perhaps we had been hidden from or we ignored, and now it's right there for us to study. And then from your brain buttons, on an inhale, we'll bring hands to the ears and we'll give the ears a massage. So moving with your breathing now. Nice inhale, nice exhale, and then begin your breathing as you massage the ears. Unless you wear earphones often, then you'll fold the ears in half and cup your hands over the ears. So choose wisely for you, please. As I massage the ears, I'm always delightfully, surprised, I suppose, at how this little tug on the earlobes gives release to not only near my temples, but around the jaw, and even I feel parts of my neck releasing. And now, as you exhale, release the hands to Zen Mudra. Hand you use most rests inside, hand you use least, thumbs touch, remembering that our fingertips have connection to the brain. So now you'll hold Zen Mudra and your tongue will move across the front of your top teeth and then the front of your bottom teeth. Please move clockwise first and let your tongue reach as many teeth, if not all of them, as possible. Keep moving. You may be able to guess that this is for all of us, but in particular those of us who clench the jaw or grind the teeth, or sometimes as we're falling asleep we even hear that click of the jaw. So this helps release all of that. And you're moving with your breathing, slow and steady. And next time you exhale, release the tongue. Now please take the tongue across the bottom teeth and then across the top teeth. And now please move counterclockwise for you. releasing the tongue, releasing your breathing, and we'll move forward to table. And you're welcome to set anything up for your knees that might add to the comfort of your knees. Your hands a little bit in front of shoulders is a nice place to be near the full moon. And if you can, release the tops of your feet and give those fingers a good spread, give those elbows a little bend, and on an inhale, we'll continue with the warming of the spine. Typically, we inhale into the cow and we exhale into the cat. You may want to even switch that and see what happens if you exhale into the cow and inhale into the cat. Just playing with something different, always good for the brain to switch things. Next time you move to your cat stay, emptying out the thoughts from the mind, allowing the mind to feel more space, at least for right now, focusing on the breathing. And on an inhale, lengthening the spine as you gaze forward, we'll bring the hands in front of the shoulders and we'll bring the hips back near the heel and then over to the other heel. Inhale brings you up near one wrist, over to the other wrist, and you're moving with your breathing. You're breathing with your moving, and you remember to pull the navel in and up so that the front body is active and the back body is not left alone. As you arrive forward and centered, pause a moment and reverse the circles, hips to the other heel, around, up to the other wrist, around, moving with your breathing. And next time you come back near the heels, stay. Take child's pose. If you like, the knees can move a little wider. Yeah, if it helps, you can prop to rest the forehead, or maybe your palms will reach open, releasing the wrists and the shoulders a bit. Inhale to your table, and we'll take it up and back to the full dog, or of course you can take the modified dog if that's better for your shoulders and wrists, and you breathe where you are, lifting one heel, bending one knee, and switching side to side. And then walking your feet all the way up to your hands, making your way over your blanket until you can find half forward fold, hands to shins, or if you use blocks, and exhale to your full forward fold, hands to blocks or to the backs of your low legs, and continue if you like, releasing the head and neck, emptying the yeses and the nos, the answers, any need to have answers in this moment, knowing it's not needed. And we'll come up in steps. Hands will move to the shins to lengthen the spine. Exhale, hands to hips, and all the way up you come to the top of the mat. The feet will ground, and we'll inhale. Reach the arms out and up, fingers interlace, palms to sky, and exhale, bring the hands behind you to your low back where your fingers could reach up, or if your wrists prefer, make fists. Elbows pull in a bit, pressing through four corners of feet, pulling in and up through the knees, activating front body. Maybe the navel center pulls in and up a bit, gazing to the sky, and then inhale. Lengthen the spine, release your gaze to find balance. Release the hands, inhale out and up again. Fingers interlace, palms to sky. And this time as the hands move to the low back, your fingers reach down, or the inner edge of your fists press the low back, elbows pull in again. Everything below that opening heart activated to support the back bend. Inhale, lifting the head and heart, releasing the gaze, releasing the hands. Heels stay grounded. Next inhale, open-hearted mountain. You know your options are to keep the hands apart, bring your palms together, even find temple steeple mudra. Treat your shoulders to what they need. Find your gaze for balance, for neutral neck, or for heart opening. Exhale, hands all the way down the midline, fingertips to the toe tips, full forward fold. Slow, steady breathing. Inhale, lift head and heart. Let's step the left foot back first, and we'll find a lunge. Keep the lunge a moment, and gently bend that back knee so it almost touches the ground, but not quite, as you gaze forward, releasing front body. And then release the back knee and keep that front foot forward. We're doing our moon salutations, and bring one hand at a time to your front thigh. You choose back toes tucked under, good for balance, or top of foot releasing, something different. Hands to your hips while you decide if this is the best place, center space, to be for your body, or do your hips request more attention, and then you move forward. But then you need to be sure that's okay for the back. So choose wisely, find balance, invite the upper body to grow involved as you're ready, and exhale, find your trident arms or goddess arms. Inhale, opening heart. Exhale, turn to one side. Inhale, center. Exhale, turn to the other side. Inhale, center, long arms now. One hand to your back thigh, other to the sky. Palms meet overhead. That hand to the back thigh, other to the sky. Palms meet overhead, hands make their way down the midline. Fingertips to the toe tips, take it back to your second child's pose. If possible, invite the knees together to massage digestion. If that's not a place for you to breathe or release, don't do it. Take the wide child's pose. Inhaling to your table, let's practice knees, chest, chin from table pose. So we'll take the table to a modified plank. Hands in front of the shoulders, hips in front of the knees, and this time we will tuck the toes under. As your elbows bend towards your upper body, release your chin and your heart center, but keep your tail up just a teeny bit, keep front body active. And then as you release tops of feet, press hands near the chest, come up to cobra. And maybe check in on those feet. Invite second, third toe in line with heel, shoulders roll, elbows bend, and we'll invite cobra circles. You can stay very close to the mat, or you might come up a bit higher. Exhale, releasing. Inhale, lifting. Reversing your circles. And next time you come center, take it back. Child's pose, modified dog, or full dog. In the full dog, please press both heels toward the mat. Press both hips toward the wall behind you. And now lift your right heel up in line with your right hip. Good, three-legged dog. Press through both heels. Take that top knee underneath you. Push through your back foot and step to your lunge. Release the back knee, find half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Same thing with your mountain, hands apart. For shoulders that might feel a little tight, you can always find your goddess arms, maybe palms together, maybe temple steeple mudra. Yeah, and the back toes tucked under may assist balance, or top of foot down. Maybe releasing for the ankle. Hands make their way down the midline, fingertips to toe tips, and as you press off the back foot, you step all the way forward. From half forward fold, we'll toe, heel, the feet as wide as mat. The feet can come on a diagonal a bit as you hinge hips, bend knees, hold elbows, rock or stay still. Inhale. Brings you center as you lift head and heart, toe, heel, the feet completely together. Bend the knees so much so your upper body finds your upper legs, and wrap your arms around to hold your elbows. On an inhale, lengthen the legs, release the head and heart. Release your hands. Move up to mountain in steps or find reverse swan dive. Please keep the spine long however you arrive. Chandra Namaskar. Moon salutations from the top of mat. Heels ground. Arms reach. Open-hearted mountain. Hands down the midline, fingertips near the toe tips, head and neck release. As you lift head and heart, we'll step the right foot back this time to lunge, bending the back knee almost to the mat, not quite touching, gazing forward, feeling that release in front body, and then gently the knee comes down, keeping the lunge, moving into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. And take a moment, as you did on the other side, to see about staying in your center space or moving forward more for the hips. Opening the heart. Turning to one side and then finding center, turning to the other side, finding center, and now long arms, one to the thigh, one to the sky, switching other side. Nice. As you make your way to the toes you choose. Full dog, modified dog, child's pose, as it makes sense for you. Maybe a bit of one or two or all three. And this time, from down dog, we'll gently bring the knees down, followed by the heart center and the chin. Tail stays up a bit, and as you press down, you're moving through those shoulders to your cobra, near the mat or up away from the mat. Finding the gaze to the floor in front of you as you're ready, across from you, or if the opening makes sense, up to the sky. And back you go through the bent knees, or you can lift up as you roll over toes and find the dog. As you press both heels to the mat and both hips to the wall behind you, we'll lift the left heel in line with the hip, pressing through both heels. Top knee moves underneath and you push through that back foot. Find the lunge, half moon as you're ready. Balancing first, then working with flexibility. Hands down the midline, fingertips to toe tips and pushing off, stepping forward, taking it as wide as the mat, toe heel it, hinge hips. Bend knees, stay still, almost as if you were a rag doll, releasing all the joints and muscles. Or maybe move side to side and let your fingertips trace that symbol for infinity. What comes around goes around. Releasing any fear that comes with that phrase and allowing ourselves comfort in knowing what we put out there makes its way back to us. Becoming responsible for ourselves, our own actions. And knowing that fine line between what is ours and what is completely not ours. Walking your hands under the shoulders, toe heel your feet back together. Bend the knees so much so the upper body finds the upper legs. Arms wrap, low legs. Inhale, lengthens the legs, releases head and neck. Come up in steps. Find reverse swan dive either way. It's a nice long spine that brings you up. Hands down the midline. Bringing hands to hips, turn to face me here in the studio so that you can, if you have a blanket, move closer to the blanket and take a nice wide step. And let your feet come on a diagonal. Lift your toes and bend your knees. 4 corners of feet pressing down, and then open those arms up. Stay still or move side to side in your goddess pose or your full moon pose. And then from center space, find your 5-pointed star. Long limbs, shoulders moving toward each other. Hands to your hips, adjust your feet if helpful. This time we're going to press into the tippy toes, the balls of the feet, and lift the heels as we bend the knees. And then find your arms. You can always bring hands to hips or heart center if you are searching for balance. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Legs long, arms long. Shoulder blades moving tiny bit toward each other, supporting opening of heart. Hands to your hips. We'll toe heel it in so your feet are still wider than hips. I have my blanket right here to give my heels a little cushion. You may have to find yours. And then we'll move into our goddess squat. So a little boost under the heels can be helpful in the lengthening process. And once you find your malasana, elbows inside, the knees, palms together, pushing, pressing, opening up any of those places that may feel like they're hanging on. Sometimes we hang on for safety's sake when actually it really doesn't make us safer. It makes us more sore or tight. And then releasing one hand outside the foot, arm inside the knee, and other hand out to the side or up to the ceiling, gazing over your fingertips as your neck is able. Top hand releasing and switching sides. Top hand releasing, and we'll bring our seat down to the mat. You'll find your way there gingerly and bring the soles of the feet together now. Baddha Konasana, your cobbler's pose, encouraging the inner edges of the knees to release as you hold the ankles or the toes. Nice long spine, opening the heart, releasing the shoulders a bit from the ears, even here. And then opening your feet as if they were a book, perhaps, the pinky toes together, the outer edges of the feet together, and take your thumbs and trace the ball of the foot. So maybe like a half moon shape you're making around the ball of foot. If you look at the acupressure map of the foot, I believe this area in some way, shape, or form affects or supports the breathing. And now let those thumbs press all the way down you can bring your feet a little further in front, all the way down the arches of the feet. And let's press the thumbs into the edges of your heel. So to get the other side, I'm going to use my middle finger and my index finger around, so I find both sides of the edge of my heel. These are marma points according to Ayurvedic science. And then go ahead and let those feet slide way in front of you. If you're up on something, I would see about coming down to the mat. If possible, you can always put some kind of pillow on top of your feet, or you can move from the inside underneath the feet, and you might even hold your ankles. So your feet are allowed to slide way far away from your body, and the inhale will lift the navel center in and up as you're ready, and the exhale will release the head towards your feet. And now you're rounding the back with purpose. Inhale, lifting the head and heart, pressing into your fingertips and starting to pull those feet back towards you. Stretch through the fingers and toes and find your own blossom. Remember patience. It's a process. Remember courage to bloom. Remember determination. Growing what you need and want to offer to us all in this moment. And then releasing your flower, and we'll bring the hands behind us with the knees and feet together to start windshield wiper side to side. As the knees press down, the back does not round, the heart center stays open. Next time you move side to side, adjust the hands if helpful, bring the feet as wide as your mat and move side to side again. Next time you move to one side, stay there, and if you like, lift the hips and lift one arm long, and then switch sides, move with your breathing. If you like, you can lengthen the leg with the arm, or you can keep both knees down. As it makes sense for you. And next time you come center, stay, give those knees one big hug before we move to supine position on the ground. Your feet can come to the top of your mat. You're welcome to keep the knees bent. Be sure there's safe space, or lengthen the legs, lift the arms, lower, in slow motion. Imagine one vertebra at a time, releasing. Until the back of your head releases, take a moment to press everything into the mat. Back of head, entire spine, your shoulders a bit more, palms of hands, the backs of your heels, your feet are pressing forward. And feel the front body active here. And then on an inhale, bend one knee and then the other. Bring the heels closer to your seat. Continue breathing as you push into the backs of your upper arms. Setu Bharvangasana variation bridge pose. Let your low back lift, your hips lift a little higher. Be aware of the knees' tendency to go wide when we lift, and bring your knees in line with your hips as best you're able. Gazing to the ceiling. Pressing into four corners of feet, pressing into backs of arms, and on an exhale, release in the order of your spine. Back to the mat until your low back and your tail are the last to settle down. You can take a moment and rest. You have two more bridge poses. Unless you're working on a modified wheel or a full wheel, you can start to involve those if you like. Nice. You're welcome to stay with the bent arms. Sometimes that reminds us of how much space we actually might find while we keep the head and shoulders down, opening up. Or you can bring the arms long and begin to reach for your heels, or even interlace your fingers underneath you. When you're ready to release, it's in order of the spine, please. Upper, middle, and finally the low back. Resting a moment, even pressing your entire back into the mat, keeping it active while you release. One last pose, bridge, or if you're working on Chakrasana, you know your hands will flip back near your shoulders, and you may take the feet wide and you may take the hands wide, which is a nice place to start. And as you press down, those elbows tend to move out, so we're bringing them in, and then you lift to the top of your head to modify. Pushing into palms, pressing into the feet, and you promise me when you release, you lift the head, tuck the chin, and come back down. Resting the knees, resting the arms. Let's release your back just a bit more, since it's just done quite a bit of work. You can windshield wiper side to side, or if you prefer, you can bring the knees and feet together and rest simply on one side. So you always have choices. I make suggestions. Once the knees release to one side, keep them there. Lift one foot and let it rest on top of the other knee. So the foot that seemed like it was my front foot is up on my back knee. And then once your low body is settled, notice where your shoulders can settle. You may have to do a little lifting and lowering. Gazing to the ceiling, or gently turning your gaze away from your knees. bringing your head center, undoing your feet and your legs and moving to the other side. Again, what seems like front foot lifts and rests on the back knee. And then once the low body is settled, you check in with the shoulders and you check in with the head and the neck. You've got it. Inhaling, bringing your head center, undoing your legs and finding your way to a resting position. If it helps, you can keep knees bent, lean knees against each other. You may roll your blanket and place it under the knees. You may press your entire back into the mat to remind front body to activate one more time, and then letting your spine find natural position. You may want to lift the shoulders and lower. Notice where your hands feel best, facing down or open. Notice where your feet feel best. Notice where your chin feels best. You can even have a little roll of blanket under your neck, and sometimes bringing the chin toward one shoulder for a bit, and then the other releases the neck as well. Finding your Shavasana. Breathing here. Gently beginning to awaken as you're ready. My friends at home, if you'd like to take longer Shavasana, please do. Fingers, toes, ankles, wrists. Perhaps a stretch, a gentle hug to pull the knees in as you're ready. Yeah, rocking, rolling, finding your way to rest on one side or the other. And eventually that top hand presses down to guide you to your seat. where you're welcome to cover the spine, keep it warm, and let your hands rest open, receiving all of the energy you've just created for yourself, and therefore that is what you offer to all of us. We'll do Satali here in the studio. If you're at home and you want to do breath of fire or Kapalabhati, please do. Satali, the tongue rolls or curls. You're inhaling through the roll, closing the mouth and exhaling through the nostrils. This is a breath to release anger. Not ignore or push away, but release. To do something about. Next time you exhale through the nose, release the breath, and prepare for alternate nostril breathing. Right hand, right thumb closes right nostril. You exhale left. Inhale. Close. Pause. You exhale right. Inhale, close, pause, you exhale left, inhale, close, pause, you exhale right. One more at your own pace. Next time you exhale right, inviting hands to heart-centered mudra. Closing with the sounds for protection. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. Join, listen, repeat it silently in the mind after inhale. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. May the energy of Ma Durga surround us, protect us, and guide us, each and every one. Thank you for sharing your practice. Namaste.
Thank you, Lord.
You're welcome. Do